Welcome to Ajax Tech Tips. Today we're going to talk about cable adjustment. We've already discussed lubing your cables and how proper lubrication is necessary. Proper adjustment is also just as necessary and needs to be done. A lot of times someone's clutch is either too loose or way too tight. The proper way to adjust your clutch cable is to turn your top adjuster in until you have just about 5 millimeters there of the adjuster sticking out, and then you take up the majority of the slack on the bottom adjuster. Now, whenever you do that, if you're on a street bike and you're out for a spirited ride, the more you use your clutch, and the same with an off-road bike, the more you use your clutch, the more heat you build in it, and the amount of that cable slack can actually decrease. So your clutch cable will get tight, which will actually put an effective load on the clutch and cause it to burn out prematurely. So you always want to keep an eye on that, and if it gets to the point where it gets tight because of the heat, then just simply turn your adjuster in, and that's why you want to leave it to where it has some room to move back inward at the top. Now on your clutch lever, you want approximately 5 millimeters of slack between the lever and the perch, or free play, however you want to, whatever term you want to use, to make sure it's not too tight. Now when it moves that much, you want to also turn your handlebars and make sure you still have that same amount of slack from one side to the other, so that you're ensuring that the cable is not routed in properly, causing it to bind when you're in one position or another, allowing it to have the same amount of free play through its full range of motion. Now as it gets hot and it heats up, that amount of free play will actually reduce. So when that free play reduces, you want to put it back in there. Now if someone comes up and adjusts your clutch and says, hey, that's too loose and you don't have any free play, you're going to be running a load on your clutch, it's going to get hotter faster, and it's actually going to cause you to burn up the clutch plates, need to change the oil, and could cause some other damage. So always make sure you have the proper slack or free play in your clutch lever. Now on your throttle cables, it's a little more tricky because generally you'll have two: a pull cable and a return cable, or open and close. Now the easiest way to do it, you figure out which is which, and you put the slack in all the way on both of them if you're not sure where to go. And you can see how much slack we have when it's all the way in on both adjusters. The first one you want to adjust out is the open cable, or the pull cable. And again, you want to turn the bars to make sure you have the same amount of slack or free play through the full range of motion. Now your adjusters may look different because of a different model motorcycle or whatever, but still the same basic principle. And then you take your return cable, or push cable, or close cable, and adjust the free play out of it. Now if you go too far, you see what happens, it keeps the throttle hung open. So we need to make sure that it has the proper amount in order to fully close the throttle. It's still a little bit tight. Just like that. Then we'll tighten our jam nut down. Be good to go. And that's all there is to it. Thanks for watching Ajax Tech Tips. Check back periodically for new installments. Und das Klutzlever. Ich heben ans Vielen und geben so